So heart disease is the #1 cause of death in humans, period. And 1 in 3 Americans actually die from heart disease, so it's a big deal. And what's the #1 risk factor? High blood pressure, also known as hypertension or the silent killer. But I also have some good news, and that is that there are many natural ways to improve your blood pressure, including eating more beets. Hey everyone, welcome back to Inc. Nutrition, where we are all about mind, body, and food. My name is Jack. I'm a registered dietitian. If you haven't been here before, how you doing? Get comfortable. We're here to help translate the science of nutrition, help you live a happier and healthier life. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Videos every week. So about a quarter of the entire world has high blood pressure. It's a lot of pressure. And this is due to a lot of different factors, right? Exercise, stress, nutrition, and genetics. And just to get personal for a second, I've always had high blood pressure, which has kind of been interesting to me. Work out a lot, eat pretty well, but upon further investigation through genetic testing, I did find out that I have what's called a single nucleotide polymorphism on a certain gene that results in high blood pressure. So genetics unfortunately can play a really big role, but that does not mean that I am doomed. In fact, being the curious dietitian that I am, I took a deep dive into the literature to kind of find some potential safe, effective, natural alternatives to medication to reduce my blood pressure. I'm 30 years old, and the last thing I want to do is rely on meds every day. So I did find some promising results. So garlic, hibiscus, hawthorn, those were some of the potential candidates. But then I did some more digging in the dirt to be precise, and uncovered the power of beets. I actually did spend a whole summer harvesting beets, which was a beautiful experience. So how do beets lower blood pressure, right? That's our question #1. Well, beets and some other vegetables naturally have a lot of what's called dietary nitrate. Now, when consumed, that nitrate gets converted into nitrite, which then gets converted once again to nitric oxide. Now, nitric oxide is a really strong vasodilator. Okay, so it expands the diameter of your blood vessels, which allows more blood to flow through, right? Less resistance, less blood pressure. To better understand this, let's look at traffic as an analogy, right? So your blood vessel is like a road, and if you have high blood pressure, there's a lot of traffic. But when you add beets and nitric oxide, you're kind of adding some extra lanes to the road. So now there's a real flow going. Now you're cruising at 70 miles per hour, no problem. That's what we want. Dietary nitrate. It's hard to beat, but it's not just found in beets. You can also find it in leafy greens, such as arugula or rocket lettuce, Swiss chard, spinach, celery, fennel, all of our favorite things, right? Well, if you do like those vegetables, great, eat them up, toss them in your salad. If you don't, if you're not a big fan of that earthy flavor, I do have some options for you. You could definitely toss them in smoothies. Okay, it's not going to change the flavor that much. You could also try beetroot powder, which we'll get into. So in theory, when you look at those mechanisms of action, beets should help reduce the blood pressure. But what does the research say? So I looked at a lot of studies, a lot of trials, systematic reviews, meta-analysis, short-term studies, long-term studies, studies that only included humans, not mice. And this is what I found. So on average, healthy subjects, so people who did not have pre-existing hypertension, their blood pressure dropped anywhere from 0 to 6 points, right? Millimeters of mercury. That was both systolic and diastolic after having dietary nitrate. Hypertensive subjects, people who had the blood pressure, they saw anywhere from a 0 to 16 point improvement, both systolic and diastolic. The study durations were anywhere from 1 day to 6 weeks long, and they were mostly randomized controlled trials, the gold standard. There were no serious side effects reported. Great. And I do want to point out that people with naturally low blood pressure going into the studies, also women, and highly active individuals didn't see as much of an improvement or a drop in blood pressure from the dietary nitrate. Now, what did these studies use for their intervention? Well, beetroot juice was probably the most common. So on average, 1 to 2 cups per day was what they went for. Whole cooked beets, about a serving a day, beetroot powder, teaspoon a day, or dark leafy greens like the ones we mentioned, serving of that a day. Green juice also, so like spinach juice or celery juice, was also used. Hey, so those results are pretty good, pretty sweet, but they're not conclusive, and we still need, of course, a lot more. I think future research should look at more long-term effects. Most of those studies were like 1 to 2 weeks, so I want to see really what it looks like when you have beets or dietary nitrate for an extended period of time. As with all nutrition research, there also needs to be much more control for variables, other food intake, stress, exercise. Of course, those things are going to impact blood pressure. And some studies were really rigorous and did a good job. Others, not so much. I would love to see studies that compared the dietary nitrate beet consumption with actual medication, okay, to see if there is a clinical difference there. I also want to see more studies use beetroot powder. Okay, most of them looked at beetroot juice, which is good. 100% beetroot juice is fantastic. However, beetroot powder, I think, has more potential and it's more concentrated, so I think the effects could be greater. I have it every day right here. Toss it in some water with some lemon juice, and it is excellent. But I also highly recommend having the whole beets themselves, the real deal, the food. If you haven't cooked them before, give it a shot. There's a lot of things you can do. You can, of course, dice them up and roast them. Maybe roast them with other roots like carrots and potatoes. Excellent side. You can boil them, peel them, cool them down, toss them in your salad. Better yet, in a salad full of spinach, arugula, Swiss chard to really maximize that dietary nitrate. So can I guarantee that your blood pressure will drop when you have beets? No, I can't. It may happen. It probably will, but I cannot guarantee it. And as a disclaimer, the content in this video is for general information purposes and is not to be used as a substitute for direct medical advice. Always consult with your healthcare provider to determine what is best for you. Now, having said that, having beets, unless you're allergic to them, is gonna be good for your health anyways. You're getting good fiber, good nutrients. Why not include a few more on a weekly basis? The potential of beets is real, and I don't want everybody to have to rely on medications. Sometimes it's more than necessary. It can even save lives. However, food, real food, high quality, fresh ingredients and compounds and nutrients can have clinically relevant and significant results when it comes to helping improve a clinical condition like blood pressure. But if you want to talk one-on-one with myself or one of our other dietitians, we'd be happy to develop a personalized plan, whether it's blood pressure or any other health condition, or you just want to improve your nutrition, we are here to help. So thank you again so much for watching. Thanks everybody for tuning in every week as we talk about all things nutrition. If you have anything that you want me to talk about, let me know. Drop it in the comments. Remember, long-term health begins in your kitchen. I hope you have a delicious day. See you next time. This is also fantastic, and yeah, you might. Beetroot roots are. You can eat your beets. You can drink your beets. You can chop your beets. It's pretty earthy. But it's good for you. You want to really find the root of the problem. Okay. Oh, give me a headache.